Rewind. Now.
19XX AD. Somewhere in the world, the evil Lord of Black Magic Hexa commands his forces to wreak havoc on the peace-loving couple of Yuri and Ikuro. A swarm of 1,000 mutated insects is about to fulfill its fatal mission. Oh no, what happened to my beloved Yuri? As Ikuro finally returns home, he finds the life of his wife spoiled by the poison of Hexa's creatures. My poor Yuri, I will go and seek for the magic antidote. And make the Dark Wizard pay for his diabolic deeds.
Hello everybody and welcome to my first episode of Rewind, a new show that's going to be looking back at some of my favourite games from the years gone by. I'm going to kick things off with Apidya 2 on the Amiga 500. Not really sure why it's called Apidya 2, rumour is it's some kind of in-joke, but it certainly isn't a sequel to anything. And I'm going to be attempting this game on easy. My skills may have rusted a little bit over the years, and I want to show you as much of the game as possible. And it is very punishing when you lose just a couple of lives. It's quite easy to get the extra lives, but once you lose one or two, the power-ups that you've accrued throughout the earlier levels are lost, and you're facing much more difficult enemies, so it's very, very hard to claw your way back up to the zenith you were at previously. Now, one of the first things you'll probably notice about this game is that it is a horizontal Gradius style shooter, and the points that you collect to spend are these little red flowers. And of course, you've transformed into a bee, and maybe these are just innocent insects going about their business and living their lives, or maybe they are also Hexa's evil, cohorts that have also transformed into insects for some reason to battle against you. But let's not read too much into that, let's just enjoy the fact that this is a really refreshing and original concept, especially in a genre that's so flooded with spaceship games. I mean, I've got nothing against spaceships. I obviously love the genre itself. Games like R-Type, Gradius, Project X on the Amiga as well, which was another big favourite of mine. But, if you get a chance to, go a little bit more Honey That I Shrunk the Kids than Star Trek, then why not? Now, the levels are divided into what we call scenes, which is a little bit unique, and again for the genre, not just for the genre I guess, but for games in general. There you see that the first level mini-boss didn't put up much of a fight because I did really well collecting my power-ups there. But the soul of it seemed to come out in the form of a cherub, and collecting the cherubs sent me to this unique, or at least to my knowledge, unique bonus level for the game. I must have played this game hundreds of times, and at the end of the first level, apparently the only time that this bonus level crops up, which is pretty weird considering that most of the game's bonus levels tend to be, the same, if not a little bit more difficult at the end of every level. And Apidya is full of these little weird bonus levels. A couple of them are the same, or slight variations of each other, but for the most part they are different. I just want to draw attention to the fact the music has slightly changed here, which was one of my favourite features of this game. Not only was the music composed by the fantastic Chris Hulsbeck, obviously of Turrican fame, which was also on the Amiga, but the music is just absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Even listening to it now, it still sounds fantastically arranged and composed, and refreshing to hear. And the idea of every level's music being a remix of the one before is just great. You get Meadows Edge Part 1, 2 and 3, and they're all slight variations of each other, which just keeps the game fresh from start to finish. Now we're coming up to the second mini-boss, which should fall quite easily, yep. And this is another way to get one of the bonus levels, which is different again. I could never get very far on this bonus level because it requires pinpoint accuracy. I am clearly not up to scratch when it comes to navigating a bee through a small mole's hole in the ground. Now this will be the third part of the scene, which means it precedes the proper end of level boss, I'd say, or as I used to call them as a child, the Guardian. Now, am I alone in this? I seem to remember reading Amiga Power magazine, and it's saying Guardian in there as well, but there seems to be very little evidence online that this was ever, a big cultural thing, that there was some paradigm shift from saying Guardian to boss. I'm not sure why that is, I've always felt that Guardian sounds a little bit cooler as well, but I could, if anyone's got any information about that, that'd be great to learn about, how sort of language develops over time and changes. Maybe Guardian was the UK term, and maybe a stronger, more popular US term came over and beat the crap out of it, a bit like the squirrels, eh? This was a really iconic boss for me when I was a kid, because I did used to think, holy shit, where in the world are there insects that big? Yes, if I've seen one. So that is a pretty big praying mantis. I grew up in a town called Cleveleys in England, which is a seaside town. Not the best climate for exotic bugs and such. So the thought of anything that big was terrifying. This sort of scene was more familiar to me though. Pond, canal scene. And it's just great how the enemies change from level to level as well, and not just by varying degrees, but by a long shot. We've got falling leaves here, and fair enough, those wasps are repeat enemies, but the fish, the little crawfish or whatever they were earlier, also like pond skaters, pike fish that pop up, whatever this weird thing is with a elephant's trunk, and there are these really weird sort of spherical looking like egg sacs or something. There's one now. I try and avoid killing them if possible, because the thing that comes out of them when you do shoot one is more threatening the actual ball itself. See there, that weird sort of larvae that comes out that's pretty tough to kill, even with a sort of maxed out set of guns like my bee has here. I never thought I'd say that, maxed out set of guns on a bee. It's just fantastic. Can't think of too many games or any of the games off the top of my head that have such an original concept, that you are a man that's voluntarily turned himself into a bee to go and rescue, or to go and defeat an evil wizard to get a antidote to rescue his wife. If anyone knows of anything like that, please leave me a comment, or at least any other sort of wacky original concepts. But as far as concepts for storylines go, that's pretty special, and that has definitely stayed with me. Over time, I've always remembered this game, and always brought it up to people, and showed my friends the music from it, and all sorts. It's definitely one of the games that is deserving of that, first episode of this retro game show to be featured. That little white thing, no idea what that's based on. But my God, is it cheap? Just avoid it. If you ever play this game, just avoid it. A couple crop up in the pond level, and they're rather difficult to kill. There might be an act to it, but if there is, I'm clueless. I don't know if you've also noticed that the music has had a slight remix as well from Pond Part 1. I think this is the repeat of the... Yes, here we go. Molehole Part 2. Except the music is an octave higher, it sounds like. I'm doing a bit better this time, though. Now you see, you'll probably be thinking, how did he remember to do that? But I did actually have a couple of attempts before recording, just to make sure I wasn't total crap at this game and was going to embarrass myself. There's another one of those things. I got it. Well, I can't remember ever killing one of those before. Now this is the third level of Scene 2, so this precedes the end of level boss again, which is another iconic one, the pike. I believe it's the pike anyway it's called. And whenever we used to go and walk along canals on hot summer days back home, I would be obsessed with asking my dad about, if he could see any pikes in the water. And the pike also does have the secret level. I think when you kill it, you can fly into its gob, and there's like a level where you sort of swim around in its gut. Now, doesn't this just look like a classic R-type, boss? A big sort of spaceship with guns mounted on it. Here we go. Oh, the music. Soothing. I mean, this game's got it all music-wise. Just swimming around inside a fish's stomach or flying, collecting what look like cans of Coke. I mean, they could be anything really. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Is that a glitch? Have I got to kill this again now because of some weird timing that I flew inside its mouth. Well, it shouldn't be too difficult to kill again. Oh, I think it is dead. There we go, we survived scene 2. Now the third level, we're going into the sewers, and this is where things start to get a little bit unusual. You know, we've been pretty grounded in reality so far in terms of the enemies that we have faced, you know. The kind of enemies you'd expect a man transformed into a bee would face. But the sewer, I mean, I've never been in a sewer, so some of the stuff could be down there, I suppose, but this is where the realm of familiarity for me goes straight out the window. But this does have my favourite music from the game is from this level. It's either this or boss rush from the last level right before the boss, final boss of the whole game. Butterflies, are they butterflies that transform into dogs' heads, you know, dead fish bones? And this is the best. Must be the most original enemy to ever be in a game. A box of Marlboro Reds, how about that? Big box of fags smoking away in a sewer. Might never see that in a game ever again. Oh yeah, music's getting a bit hardcore now. Yes, and the sewer's first mini-boss, a dead rat that explodes and big maggots come out of. And then, if my memory's yes, you fly inside its stomach. Oh, that was quick. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. But this was one of the most surreal enemies for me. That toy soldier on a paper boat. Now, I'm sure when I was a kid, this could be it. We could be on our way down. I'm sure when I was a kid there was some sort of fairy tale or story or something about a toy soldier that was put in a boat and lowered into the sewers. I don't know if that's from like an old kids film or something, but it didn't seem unusual to me that was down there. Maybe that'll be something we'll have to look into. Oh, we're fighting Pepsi this time. Collected Coke and now we're fighting Pepsi. Oh, this could be bad news, guys. I've still got a fairly powerful bee, but the difficulty of these, even the normal sort of wafy enemies that you face, like these guys, are going to start to get a lot more difficult now. Hopefully I'll get a couple more power-ups. See, that's another thing. You notice that the enemies don't drop anywhere near as many power-ups. Like the level 1 Meadow's Edge, I mean, it's almost like every other enemy's dropping them in that level. Whereas you can kill like 30, 40 enemies and get like 2 or 3 flowers out of them here. If these are woodlice, I've never seen them do that. In real life, that is. My strength is very much depleted now. We could be getting to the end of this video. I mean, I could continue, but I'll be continuing with the bog standard gun and we're going to be back to square one basically. I'd have to start the whole game again. But I'd like to think that I've showcased the game rather well so far. or at least shown enough of it to make you at least track it down, or maybe give it a try for yourselves. I'm going to take this opportunity to also thank Trustef for being a champ and helping me get this set up and captured correctly. It seems to be going smoothly so far without a hitch, apart from the skill of the player, of course. But yeah, also check his channel out. He's a hilarious guy that does some great Let's Plays and retro game playthroughs as well, with a great taste in movies, as it happens. I think nearly every one of my favourite movies that I've ever mentioned in comments has also been a favourite of his, so there you go, a guy of good taste. Oh, there we go, our first little skip. Well, that's not too bad. I can live with that. I mean, where's the checkpoints? This is just relentless now, isn't it? You can see what I mean about it being unforgiving once you die just once. I'm on my last life, so thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll get more of these videos sorted out. No thanks. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. See you soon.